And I kind of thought, what's it like? I'm a white guy making reggae music. Is that going to be a bit strange? Then I realised that a lot of the music I was listening to, Alpha and Omega, Disciples, Conscious Sounds, produced by white people, that's it. Or collaborations of like lots of different kinds of people. So there I was playing, my music was being played in these sessions, and it's like, well, okay, my music must be okay then. And that really gives you a lot of confidence. And you kind of start thinking, okay, well, I could maybe do something with this. And then you start producing more music and then giving it to the DJs and soundmen and hearing people play it and thinking, okay, well, I need to make more like this or more like that. And then the other thing I did was I sent some to a couple of record labels like Dubhead, who were around at the time, and Design Train, who had Universal Egg Records. And they really loved it as well. And they said, well, we like it, we want to release some. And I'm like, wow, okay, well, sounds good to me. Because a lot of people were, and still, I'll go on and talk about the label in a bit, but like setting their own labels up, and a very underground DIY thing where you make your own music, establish your own label, and release your own music, distribute it yourself. And I wanted to do that, but I didn't even have the money to do that, because the money I did have was spent on buying this crappy equipment that was falling apart and was really old. Yeah, exactly. And then the Universal Egg said, well, we like it, we want to release some. And I'm like, okay, great, let's do it. So they started releasing it. Yeah, and then things started to happen from there. So
you've been there with them on tour?
Yeah, well, that was one of the other big things that happened, is that they said, well, actually, we've signed up 3 other new artists, and we want to take all of the artists on a European tour. And at the time it was kind of like, well, okay, yeah, why not, let's go away. So we're going to go away for a month. So we went on a tour bus all around Europe and played in Belgium and in France and Holland, Germany, I think that was it, yeah. And that showed me that, because before I'd thought a dub scene, okay, there's a small dub scene in the UK, exactly, in London. I've gone to the big dances in London and the small ones in Leicester and ones in Southend and Birmingham and Leeds and other places. And I didn't realise there was a dub scene outside of the UK, and then I went to these other, and this was years ago, this is the kind of sort of mid-90s, and the dub scene was small in Europe, but there was one, and it's like, okay, so there's people here now making music as well. And that's when I first met King Shiloh. I met Neil in Amsterdam on that first tour, and I gave him a tape of my music, and he got back straight away and said, this is great, and I want to release one on my label. And I met the guys from Isham Rockers in Germany on that same tour, and some other people that I'm still in touch with in France and whatever. And it's like the very early days of the European dub scene, but it showed me that, well, actually, maybe I can make music, but then I can play it to people in other places. And from then, nothing's changed. Now it's just kind of, that's continued from then on to now, where we play music all over the place and still make music and release it. But that kind of showed me that it is possible. Because it's hard with me. It's hard to make a living from music. You have to work very hard. But that showed me, yeah, exactly, time, money. I mean, it's all difficult.
Your music is it's tough music. I mean, it's heavy bass lines and UK stepper, hard style. I mean, and still you have you can feel the message. I mean, you can feel the vibration and the universal thing about peace and love and the message of Rastafari. And how is that? I mean, how can you still send the message using only the bass and the
Well, the thing about dub and reggae is that you hear the bass because it's so loud and the whole place is shaking, but there has to be some other elements as well. There has to be some melody, and that's, even if it's very simple, that's really important to reggae. And that melody has got a certain flavour to it. I mean, Augustus Pablo used to call it the Far East sound. It's got this kind of minor key, minor chord, sort of uplifting but slightly mystical kind of sound, and that kind of, the combination of that and the bass already makes you think in a certain way and feel in a certain way. It's kind of unexplainable, but that's kind of that's the effect it has on people. Wherever you play it, people will feel a similar kind of emotion or sensation or whatever when they hear that kind of music. But then you combine that with lyrics and vocals and MCs and a message that's kind of that's political and spiritual as well, and you put those two things together and that becomes really powerful. So, and that's the kind of unique thing about kind of reggae music, and because also like UK dub is basically dance music. I mean, there is a slower side to it and a meditational side to it, but increasingly over the years it's become more, and it was always about playing on sound systems. And reggae, when reggae music started, it was party music, and the people who had the first sound systems, they became successful by selling lots of rum and beer at dances in Jamaica, and that's how they became. And it was a party. It was let's go out and enjoy ourselves. And then the Rasta element rose within music, and the message of struggle became really important. But it was still about enjoying yourself and going out as well, and dancing and kind of being uplifted, but the whole time with this strong message as well. That's kind of that's political and interesting and kind of makes people think. And now that, because UK dub, I mean, I can see it written in your questions there. That's only been the last few years that's become a genre, if you like. Like when I started, there was no such thing as UK dub. It didn't exist. We were just making reggae or dub, and then because of the export of it from the UK, if you like, because obviously there's no dub in Jamaica. It all moved to London. It all moved to the UK. And then us Brits started exporting it to other places in Europe and further afield, and it became UK dub because it's a British-based phenomena. And it's become increasingly like a dance music, and it gets sort of linked in with the jungle and now with dubstep and whatever. But what makes UK dub different is this political, sort of social and spiritual message that comes with it as well, which you don't have with those other musics so much. And without that, it wouldn't be UK dub, and that's, for me, it's essential to have those things, to have the sound, but to have this message as well, and it's like agenda.
You feel it's the roots of this music can be felt in the struggle in the 70s, I think.
And even before that, just the struggle of people from years and years.
This new dub. Another thing I wanted to ask you was about. You've been making collaboration with a lot of people, a lot of artists, and a lot of with different backgrounds, and come from different styles of music and genres, anything. So I wanted to ask you, what was the most uncommon collaboration you had?
The most uncommon?
Uncommon?
The strangest collaboration. Yes. I mean, the thing is that I always, I like so many kinds of music from different backgrounds. I mean, I love reggae music, but I listen to all sorts of music I'm really interested in, like American folk music, and I'm really interested in like British punk music and kind of just jazz music and just kind of all kinds of music. I mean, I love music and listen to loads of different stuff. So I'm interested in seeing what, as a dub producer, I can do with other people's kinds of music, and also because dub music is like a melting pot anyway, it brings in lots of different things, lots of different influences. Yeah, exactly. That's it. But dub music comes from like jazz music and folk music and whatever, and so you can bring different things into it and mix it up. So when it comes to the strangest, I mean, we did some work with Fun Loving Criminals, who are sort of quite a big sort of like pop American sort of commercial kind of sort of hip hop stoner kind of thing. Yeah, that's it. And that was really good to do some work with them. And I did some work with like the Warsaw Village Band, who are this Polish kind of folk band. I did a remix for them. Yeah.
You mixed dub with traditional.
With traditional Polish acoustic music. But, I mean, the Twinkle Brothers did that a long time ago. Yeah. Twinkle in a Polish style.
They have
it's a great album. Totally. So, and there's been so many, just so many collaborations with different kinds of music. But as long as I can make it sound like dub music, then I'm happy to bring in these different things. And I still do it now. I mean, the big project I'm working on at the moment is a French remix project.
A lot of countries involved in Vibronics.
International. Dub Force, that's what it's all about.